Okay class, what we're going to be doing today is called intriguing inverses. This is a continuation on what you have seen the rest of this week, which is on inverses. Now, for on your handout, for number 1, it's telling you list 5 ordered pairs from the points on the function graph below. So you have the x and y function table, and you also have a graph. The graph already gives you the parent function, which is this one right here. Your graph looks like that. Okay, now you're going to find 5 ordered pairs on your x and y table. And I'm going to give you the points that you need to find. Your points are this one right here, this one right here, this one, this one right here. I'm sorry, that line is a little crooked, but you need to find that point. And this point right here, that one's a little crooked also. But those are the points you need to find. There you go. Okay, so you find the ordered pairs from left to right. Okay, so for the first point, we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So that's for the first x value. I'm going to place -6 right here. Can anyone tell me what the y value would be? That's correct, you count up. So it's +1, +2, +3, +4, and +5 for this point right here. Go ahead and put 5 next to the -6. On the next ordered pair, it's this one right here. Since you don't move, since you move from the middle over here, you start counting -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So that's -5 right here. Oh, right there, I'm sorry. So that's -5 right there. And since you don't move up or down, it's 0 for the y value. Okay, for the next ordered pair, it's this one right here. So we start counting -1, -2, -3. Is that correct? Yes, -3. Can anyone tell me the y value? +4, that's correct. For the next point, this one right here, you just move -1, right? So that's -1. What is the y value? 0? That's correct. Why is it 0? Because it doesn't move up or down. That's correct. So this is 0 right here. And the last point, we have this one right here. So, since you don't move left or right, the x value is 0. And you move up how many points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. +5, that's correct. So those are your 5 ordered pairs of the function table. Now, on number 2, it tells you use these points to name 5 ordered pairs that would be on the function's inverse. Okay, can anyone tell me how you could find the inverse table? Yes, that's correct. You just flip the x and y values to get the inverse. Okay, so for the first ordered pair, what would it be? We had -6, 5, so it would be, that's correct, 5, -6. What would be the next point? Negative 5, 0, yes. The next point, negative 3, 4. Next point, yes, negative 1, 0. And the last point, that's correct, 0, 5. Okay? Now, this would be our inverse table. This is number 2, by the way. There you go. And go ahead and plot these points on the graph to get your inverse function. Okay. And your new graph should look like this. That is more or less how your inverse graph should look. Okay, for number 3, the question is the inverse also a function? Why or why not? So as you can see, the original function, the original graph of the function, you pass a line through it. Does anyone know if it's a function or not? It is, because it only passes once. Okay, if you put a line through this graph, how many times will it pass? More than once? That's correct. It would pass 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So that would be not a function. And what is another way to find out if it's a function? By looking at your function table. That's correct. When your x values repeat, I put this point wrong. I'm sorry, this would be 5, 0. But yes, your x values repeat. You have a 5 right here and a 5 right here, meaning if the x values repeat, it's not a function. So that's another way of finding out if the inverse is a function or not. So for number 3, just go ahead and put it fails the vertical line test and the x values are repeated. Okay, moving on to number 4. It's telling you use a calculator to complete the table below for the function y equals 1 over x. Then use these points to name ordered pairs that would be on the function's inverse. So, for number 4, they're giving you the x values on the function table, which are these. This is number 4. This is x, y. They're giving you negative 2, negative 1, negative 0.5, negative 0.4, 0.4, 0.5, 1, and 2. So it's giving you 8 points right here. And these points, you're going to input them on your function table once you place y equals 1 over x in your calculator. And then go ahead and place these values, and it should give you the y values. Okay? Go ahead and do that. Okay, can anyone tell me the y values? What is the first one? Correct, negative 0.5. The next one, negative 1. The next one, negative 2. negative 2.5, 2.5, this one, it's 2, 1, and 0.5. Okay? Go ahead and do the same thing for the inverse function. You already know that you just flip x and y. And fill in the inverse function table and go ahead and graph both on the graph given. And on your graph, it should look like this once you plot it. Those are your two functions. And it's asking, on number 5, it's asking you, what do you notice is special about the inverse of its function? Can anyone answer that? Yes, they're the same. So the inverse is the same as the function itself. So go ahead and write that down for number 5. Is everybody done? Okay. Now, continuing on the next graphs, you're going to open your spirals on the reference section, and we're going to look through them together. The first graph, it's just a graph like this. It's the line going through like that. Just like that. Can anybody tell me what the parent function would be? The equation? That's correct. This one would be y equals to x. So you just go ahead and place this equation into the calculator. Okay, the next graph looks like this. That's a parabola, and the equation would be, that's correct, y equals x squared. You're just going to put this equation into the calculator. On the next graph, it gives you this right here. What is the equation? That's correct. Y equals radical x. And that's what you're going to place in your calculator. On the next graph, it looks like this. And the equation you're going to put is y equals 2 to the power of x. That is your equation to place into the calculator. The next graph is this one right here. And your equation is, yes, it's y equals 0.5 to the power of x. That is your equation to place into the calculator. And the last graph given, your second to the last graph given is this one right here. And your equation is y equals log base 10 of x. So it's log base 10 of x that you're going to place into the calculator. And the last graph given looks like this. And the equation would be If this is a absolute value graph, what would be the equation? That's correct. Y equals absolute value of x. And that is the equation you will place into your calculator. Okay? Go ahead and continue finding the y value functions on your function table. Get the inverse of each by just flipping them and graphing the inverse into the graph given. If you have any questions, you can just ask me, raise your hand. I will come help you. And does anybody have any questions right now? Okay, just go ahead and continue to your assignment, and when you're finished, you can just turn in your assignment.